Chrisean Rock was the heart of the party at a recent church event when she arrived with her son, who was almost 2 years old. Because something felt strange more than because of his appearance or demeanor, the child next to her became a subtly discussed issue as the conversation centered on her most recent musical release. Among those who knew Chrissy and her family well, there was an uncomfortable stillness. The child looked nearly in contrast to the few teasers that were initially released online several months ago. Rather than exuding the happiness and pride of a mother commemorating her child's development, there was a faint but noticeable tension in the air that caused many visitors to feel a little uneasy about what they saw, since the boy appeared to be stuck in a time warp and exhibited no evidence of physical or developmental advancement. His conduct and look grew troubling. He hardly ever saw anyone's eyes seemed unnaturally sharp and detached from the world around him. Following the widespread distribution of a video that showed Chrissy carrying her son into the church, a professional, unbiased doctor who was not connected to the family publicly evaluated the incident. According to the doctor, if timely and sufficient medical assistance were not given, the youngster would never be able to learn to talk. This was a serious professional assessment, not just speculation. Evaluation that shocked viewers and swiftly became well known online early on after the baby was born. Blueface's mother openly expressed her own grief on Instagram, creating a melancholy atmosphere that all of a sudden felt frighteningly real. There was an obvious sense of happiness when Chrisean Rock first revealed her child to the world. However, little clues beneath the surface started to alarm bystanders. The baby paid little attention and hardly moved his head, given his surroundings. His screams rather than the gentle coos one might anticipate from a newborn broke the quiet with a high-pitched screaming that made others look. Despite the faint sounds of her son's cries coming from behind her, Chrissy maintained that her baby was fine, even defending the Blueface name tattoo on her body. As the months went by, anxiety increased. Her infant, who was just 8 months old, was not particularly hungry and didn't even recognize the spoon until it was a sharp contrast to the intense curiosity that characterizes infants of his age was almost at his lips. Sincere worries were expressed by supporters and fans regarding the child's seeming withdrawal and the fact that he hadn't reached the typical developmental phases. Chrissy dismissed these worries as unfounded pessimism, claiming that despite the physician's assurances that everything was fine, no pediatric exam records or updates were ever provided, leaving others to wonder what her genuine objectives were. Confident assertions, observers noted physical characteristics such as low-set ears, flat facial features, and a small head, which are sometimes associated with disorders related to alcohol use during pregnancy. However, the child's strange sobs raised the possibility of withdrawal symptoms. The mystery was further compounded by Chrissy's intermittent social media posts, as many people believed that she would have publicly displayed her confidence if doctors had actually cleared her son. Blueface later publicly reprimanded Chrissy for being slow action to repair their son's hernia before it got worse. The issues remained unresolved after a brief update on her recuperation. A video of Junior's hesitant, shaky steps appeared as his first birthday drew near. Viewers were apprehensive rather than relieved. The boy's movements appeared compelled, devoid of the impromptu joy and passionate interest typical of young children. The baby appeared frail, and there was a noticeable sense of alienation. Disengaged from his surroundings, there was conjecture that Chrissy's objectives might go beyond parenting because her child had turned into a means of preserving her relationship with Blueface and drawing attention to herself. Even if many of the people who expressed concern did so with genuine sympathy, this charge was devastating. Initiative, patience, and consistency are essential qualities for parents, particularly when raising a child who might have special needs, attributes that the broader public believed were lacking. One of my close friends clarified Chrissy's battle was marked by exhaustion and denial, suggesting that she was a mother who was overworked but unwilling to confront the difficulties head-on. Chrissy eventually stopped posting updates about her son's life online. Many applauded the action, hoping it would free her up to concentrate on his care. But when the child resurfaced at a church function, the same concerning symptoms remained: stillness, emotional disengagement, and quietness. This lovely picture brought up memories of a difficult pregnancy filled with substance abuse and public discussions that have a long-term impact on the child's present difficulties. The mother of Clarissa, Blueface, who has always opposed Chrissy, spoke up about her distress after meeting her grandson and being unable to make the connection between the child she saw and the one she had hoped for. Meanwhile, the grim reality of her son's situation felt quite different from Chrissy's public image, which was full of inspirational sayings and music promotions. Supporters, medical experts, and strangers banded together to urge Chrissy to put sincere concern ahead of appearances. However, she insisted that everything was okay while continuing to conceal the facts behind faith and evasive comments. Clarissa's reasoning was convincing. This child needs assistance, not glasses. Beyond the celebrity drama, this story serves as a powerful warning about the serious consequences that unstable situations, carelessness, and bad decisions can have on those who are most vulnerable. Even though Junior did not request to be born into a world that is chaotic and unpredictable, he must live with the results of decisions made before his birth. May be able to speak from the start. He has been thrown into a tumultuous milieu that has been influenced by unmet expectations, family disputes, and public scrutiny. Both mother and child had additional stress as a result of Chrissy's decision to publicly discuss her pregnancy and parenting experience, which led to constant criticism and expectations. Rumors that she placed the health of the unborn child at risk by prioritizing appearance and drama over her own health were stoked by videos showing her drinking and smoking while pregnant, dangerously neglected more than 2 years later. The boy's alienation and lack of development are more than just developmental setbacks. They are urgent calls for assistance. Instead of critics flinging stones, the alarm is being raised by compassionate voices pleading for attention and action for a child in dire need of care, connection, and hope. Currently, neither Chrissy's public defenses nor the online outcry is the main emphasis. It relates to what she is willing to consider the future of her son. Can she accept that her child needs expert help immediately, putting aside her need for praise and her well-preserved image? The more days the mother refuses to help, the greater the likelihood that her child will suffer irreversible injury. Every kid should have the opportunity to thrive, and early intervention has the power to transform lives. But Chrissy's steadfast refusal to accept the seriousness of her son's illness only serves to increase uncertainty and anxiety. Avoidance takes the place of accountability. A child's future is in jeopardy, and her online presence serves as a front for her evasiveness. The part played by the boy's father, Blueface, is equally important. Even if he periodically participates in public debates over the matter, his appearances rarely amount to actual engagement. Even though his statements are occasionally well-intentioned, they frequently come across as image management rather than earnest admissions of guilt. There is more to this split than only visible. It's concerning. Chose a parent who is more concerned with maintaining his reputation than he is with fiercely protecting his family. Being a good parent requires much more than just saying a few words here and there. It calls for constant involvement, attendance, and emotional commitment. Both parents need to be secure and self-assured for their children to overcome emotional and developmental obstacles, but Blueface's seeming inaction adds even more difficulty, bringing uncertainty into a household that is already unstable. His son interprets his absence as a sign of his insignificance. A child's feeling of safety and self-worth can be severely harmed by such perceived parental carelessness. Furthermore, considering Blueface's reserve in the face of mounting worries, there are serious doubts regarding his willingness to accept his son's reality. By keeping the topic out of the public eye, he loses out on important opportunities to speak up for the health and welfare of his child. Confusion and instability result when a parent overlooks these issues and lets the youngster struggle alone. This type of alienation has a significant and enduring emotional cost. Building the child's future social connections and feeling of trust beyond the emotional toll. The practical side of raising a kid with special needs requires time and flexibility to coordinate daily caring rituals, medical care, and therapy. Given Blueface's limited public engagement, it appears that he has not yet fully embraced these obligations, leaving Chrissy to shoulder the majority of the load by herself and endangering chances for prompt assistance. Fatherhood is more than just biology. It involves taking an active role and being present to provide protection. One parent's withdrawal disrupts the delicate balance needed for effective co-parenting, creating a void that encourages instability and blunders. Distance is more than just a lack of presence. This discrepancy puts the child's chances of a safe, supportive childhood at risk. This small child is ultimately trapped in a difficult and unfortunate circumstance where two individuals appear more focused on upholding their public personas than on providing a child with the kind of loving, focused care that they so sorely need, because of the emphasis that social media and celebrities place on children. Their needs are often neglected in a narrative that is controlled by image maintenance and personal drama due to the harm this lack of genuine parental support causes to the foundation required for his growth and well-being. His future is uncertain and fraught with challenges. Bringing a child into the world is only one aspect of parenting. Another is the ongoing practical task of caring for, safeguarding, and assisting that child as they navigate life's obstacles. For this boy, whose developmental challenges and emotional distance are already causes for concern when such constant commitment is absent, it is particularly difficult. Consistency and stability are essential for early childhood development, and they are jeopardized when both parents are not actively participating. This is more than just meeting a kid's basic needs. It also entails creating a secure environment where the child feels valued, supported, and free to explore, learn, and express themselves. Blueface has an extremely significant role in this story, even though he has occasionally spoken these moments. When he speaks candidly about his son, rarely lead to concrete, meaningful action. It takes more than just words to fill the gaps left by a parent who is not present or involved. Real influence requires a level of dedication that goes beyond appearances. A commitment to participating in therapy sessions, going to doctor's appointments, and providing emotional support in spite of any obstacles that may come up. This necessitates being willing to prioritize the needs of the child and being open to confronting difficult facts. Needs over one's own reputation or the views of others. The boy's life has tragically become a public spectacle, a battleground where private disputes are openly addressed and the child is caught in the crossfire. This role should never have to be played by a child. Instead of being protected from the storm by the adults who brought him into the world, he is left open to criticism, speculation, and the stress of constant scrutiny. The consequences of such his current health, future emotional resilience, faith in other people, can all be significantly impacted by exposure. This situation serves as a potent reminder of the immense responsibility that accompanies parenthood. It's a call to action for Chrissy and Blueface, as well as anyone else who can support or encourage them, to prioritize the urgent needs of this vulnerable youngster over their fame and public image. The way forward is doubtful, but if he is, given genuine compassion, honesty, and commitment, there is still hope that he can receive the assistance he needs to succeed. This boy's life will ultimately depend on the choices he makes today. Will the people in his life continue to allow the pressures of public life to overwhelm their most fundamental duty to love and care for their child in front of the world? Or will they accept their obligations with the appropriate gravity and empathy? The stakes are higher than ever as you watch. Chrissy and Blueface's future will now depend on the choices they make in the months ahead. Before it's too late, we must move quickly to address this painful truth. If both parents can embrace the consequences of their past, confront their responsibilities, and give their child the support he so desperately needs, then hope will endure. However, if others who care about this child ignore the warning signs and do nothing, they may continue to forsake them. Should be his most powerful protectors. The whole world is watching, holding its breath. Will these adults take charge, fulfill their obligations, and provide this child the care they so desperately need? Or will they keep ignoring him until the chance to help him is gone forever? This story is not yet finished, and everyone is trying to find a solution to healing and hope. Hope.